Welcome back to Knowledge Journey. I'm your host, and today we're embarking on a wild ride through the dark side of human personality. Yes, we're talking about the not-so-charming traits that might have you saying, "Oh no, they didn't." But guess what? Oh yes, they did. Today's episode is all about spotting those toxic personalities from a mile away, whether it's at work, in your circle of friends, or even on your next Tinder date. Now, don't get me wrong, we all have our flaws. Like, I can never remember where I put my keys, and let's not even start with my coffee addiction. But today, we're diving deeper into behaviors that are a tad more sinister than misplacing your car keys. We're talking serial dishonesty, mega selfishness, and those sneaky rule breakers. And hey, this isn't just me chatting with you. Science backs up all the juicy details we're going to explore. From psychological studies to the latest stats, we'll see how these behaviors are not just annoying, but can genuinely affect our lives. So, whether you're here to learn how to dodge those toxic bullets, or just for the thrill of the psychology ride, grab your snacks and let's get started. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you find our journey enlightening. All right, buckle up. Let's dive into our first toxic trait, dishonesty. And boy, it's a doozy. All right, let's dive into our first toxic trait, dishonesty. Imagine you're playing a game of Monopoly with someone who secretly swipes a couple of hotels from the bank. Not cool, right? Well, in the real world, dishonesty isn't just about cheating in board games. It's about those little lies and big deceptions that some folks weave into their daily lives. Now, here's where it gets spicy with some science. Studies show that the average person lies about 1.65 times a day. I know, it sounds a bit low, doesn't it? But think about it. Those little "I'm just 5 minutes away" texts when you haven't even left the house, they add up. However, toxic people take this to a whole other level. They lie to manipulate, gain power, or avoid consequences, which is a lot more sinister than fibbing about your ETA. For a visual, picture this. You're watching a detective show, and there's always that character who seems helpful, sharing info with the cops. But behind the scenes, they're deleting crucial emails and texts. Classic toxic behavior right there. It's like they're wearing a mask of honesty, but in reality, they're the puppet master pulling all the strings. So why should we stay alert to this? Because let's be honest, nobody wants to deal with the fallout of someone else's deceit. It can lead to broken trust, ruined relationships, and a lot of unnecessary drama. And in the workplace or in personal relationships, this can be downright destructive. Remember, it's not about catching every little lie. It's about recognizing patterns of deceit that suggest someone might be toxic. Next up, we'll look at our second trait, selfishness and lack of empathy. And trust me, it's just as juicy as it sounds. Stay tuned and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're loving the ride on the Knowledge Journey Express. Moving right along to a trait that really grinds my gears. Selfishness paired with an absolute lack of empathy. Now imagine you're at a buffet with a friend who takes the last 2 slices of the best pizza knowing full well it's your favorite. Feels pretty rotten, doesn't it? That's a mild case of what I'm talking about. Toxic individuals take this to an extreme, not just with pizza, but with emotions, opportunities, and more, always putting their needs first, without a second thought for anyone else. Here's the kicker. Research from psychological studies paints a stark picture. People high in these traits often lack what's called affective empathy, which means they struggle to feel or share another person's feelings. Think of it like this. You're watching a sad movie, and while you're tearing up at the heart-wrenching scenes, they're scrolling through their phone, completely disinterested. It's not just that they don't care. They literally don't feel the emotional cues that others do. Now, let's get visual. Picture a seesaw. On one side, you have Mr. Self-Involved, weighing it down, glued to his phone, oblivious. On the other side, you're up in the air, waving frantically for a bit of attention, a smidge of consideration. It's a stark, lonely image, isn't it? That's everyday life with someone who's toxically self-centered. Why is this dangerous? Because these are the folks who will use your vulnerabilities as stepping stones. They'll promise to support you, then bail when you need them most, all with a shrug that says, "What's the big deal?" It leaves relationships feeling one-sided, underappreciated, and frankly, exhausting. So, why do we stick around? Often because we hope to see a glimmer of empathy eventually. But here's a reality check. If you're constantly feeling drained and undervalued, it might be time to ask yourself why you're still on that seesaw. Coming up next, we'll dive into the murky waters of jealousy and envy. It's about to get even more emotional, folks. Stick with me, and let's unpack these toxic traits together. And remember, hit like if you're finding insights here on Knowledge Journey. As we continue our journey into the world of toxic traits, let's explore the swirling, stormy seas of jealousy and envy. Now, imagine you've just landed a dream job, or maybe won that coveted award you've been eyeing for ages. You're thrilled, right? But then, there's that one friend who, rather than celebrating with you, dims your sparkle with their icy, "That's nice." Or even worse, spreads rumors that you didn't deserve it at all. Here's where the science kicks in. Studies show that while a little envy can be a motivator for some, in toxic individuals, it morphs into a destructive force. They don't just covet what you have, they actively wish you didn't have it. It's not enough for them to succeed. They feel compelled to see others fail. Now picture this scene. It's your birthday party. You're blowing out the candles, and there in the background is Mr. or Ms. Green with envy. While everyone else is cheering, they're whispering, "Must be nice," under their breath, plotting how to upstage your next moment. This kind of person steals not just joy, but also peace of mind, turning friendly competitions into battlegrounds. Why should this matter to you? Because the impact of such toxic jealousy can ripple through your life. It can undermine your successes, poison your friendships, and even lead to sabotage, both in personal and professional spheres. Think of it like this. You're swimming in a lake, enjoying the sunshine, and along comes this giant squid of envy, muddying the water and wrapping its tentacles around your ankles, trying to pull you under. This imagery might seem dramatic, but when you're dealing with a toxic, envious person, that's exactly how suffocating it feels. In our next segment, we'll dive into aggression and hostility, traits that can turn any environment into a war zone. So stay tuned, and remember, if you're enjoying this deep dive into the darker side of personality, give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more insights right here on Knowledge Journey. We're uncovering the tough stuff, helping you navigate your way to healthier relationships and peace of mind. All right, strap in as we dive into another heavy hitter on the list of toxic traits, aggression and hostility. Now imagine you're in a peaceful garden, birds chirping, sun shining, and suddenly someone storms in, yelling over a phone call, throwing things around, totally shattering that calm vibe. That's what it feels like to deal with an aggressively toxic person. They bring chaos not just into their environment, but into the hearts of those around them. Let's layer in some science to understand the gravity of this trait. Studies in psychology indicate that chronic aggression can be a sign of deeper emotional disorders, and it often leads to destructive relationships and unhappy lives. Think about it. Aggression isn't just about raising voices or clenching fists. It's about a mindset that views the world through a lens of conflict and domination. Visualize this scenario. You're at work, and there's that one person who can never seem to communicate without snark or sarcasm, always ready to criticize or belittle others to prove their point. It's like walking on eggshells around them, where any moment could explode into verbal or even physical confrontation. Why is recognizing and handling this trait critical? because unchecked aggression can escalate, leading to situations that might require intervention for safety's sake. It's vital not just for personal peace, but also for maintaining a healthy, productive environment, whether at home or in the workplace. Consider this analogy. Imagine you're driving on a highway and there's an aggressive driver behind you, honking incessantly, tailgating, and overtaking dangerously. That stress and risk you feel? That's a day in the life with someone harboring toxic aggression. As we look forward to wrapping up this exploration of toxic traits, our final chapter will address irresponsibility and disregard for rules, a trait that encapsulates the bold disdain some have for boundaries and norms. So keep watching. Hit that like button if you've been finding these insights valuable, and don't forget to subscribe to Knowledge Journey for more content that helps you steer clear of life's potholes. Stay tuned. As we wrap up our deep dive into the world of toxic traits, let's tackle one more critical behavior: irresponsibility and disregard for rules. Imagine you're planning a group project, and there's that one person who promises the moon, but when deadlines come, they vanish faster than a magician's rabbit. This isn't just flaky behavior. It's a deliberate disregard for commitments and the norms that most of us respect. Diving into some scientific insights, studies have shown that people who consistently shirk responsibilities and ignore rules are often battling underlying issues like impulsivity or a profound disrespect for societal norms. This can manifest in risky behaviors, such as financial irresponsibility or even legal violations, which don't just jeopardize their life, but can profoundly impact those around them. To visualize, picture you're building a house with a team, and one person keeps breaking the tools, ignoring the blueprint, and using subpar materials. The foundation they're messing with? It isn't just the physical house, but the trust and safety of everyone involved. This is the real-life impact of dealing with someone who has no regard for rules or responsibilities. Why is this important to recognize? Because living or working with such a person can lead to a chaotic and unstable environment. Whether it's missing bills, neglected duties, or more serious legal troubles, the fallout is often left for others to handle, adding stress and strain where there should be cooperation and reliability. Imagine you're on a boat, and the person who's supposed to be navigating is ignoring all the maritime laws. You wouldn't just be going off course. You'd be risking a full-on shipwreck. That's the kind of turmoil irresponsibility can bring into your life. In closing, as we've journeyed through the traits of dishonesty, selfishness, jealousy, aggression, and irresponsibility, remember that understanding these signs is your first step towards protecting yourself from toxicity. If you found this series helpful, smash that like button, subscribe to Knowledge Journey, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more valuable insights. Share your thoughts or experiences with toxic traits in the comments below. We're all here to learn from each other. Thanks for watching, and here's to healthier relationships and a more peaceful life. Stay wise, stay kind, and until next time, keep navigating your journey with knowledge and care. And there you have it, folks. A complete rundown of the toxic traits that can wreak havoc in your personal and professional life. From the subtle art of dishonesty to the loud crashes of irresponsibility, understanding these traits is crucial for navigating the tricky waters of human relationships. Now, as we wrap up this enlightening journey, remember that knowledge is power. Recognizing these signs isn't just about tagging people as toxic. It's about empowering yourself to make informed decisions, set healthy boundaries, and choose environments that foster positive interactions and growth. Reflect on the discussions we've had today. Think about the people in your life. Are there underlying patterns that perhaps you've overlooked? What changes might you consider to safeguard your well-being? And importantly, how can you ensure that you're not the source of toxicity in someone else's life? If today's episode made you think, hit that like button. It really supports the channel and helps spread the word about staying mentally and emotionally healthy. Subscribe to Knowledge Journey for more insights. And if you have a story or a tip about dealing with toxic traits, drop it in the comments below. We all have something to share and learn. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the darker side of personality traits. Remember, the journey to understanding human behavior is ongoing, and each step you take is a step towards a more aware and compassionate world. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, stay on the bright side of life. Safe travels on your knowledge journey.